Sunday Fun Day continues at Clean Show 2025 in Orlando. Laundry Nerd Podcast live once again for one last time for day 2. But we're ending super strong, pulling out all the stops. We're bringing out one of the biggest rising stars in the industry. I mean, I'm surprised we got her on the show because she's so in demand, but we made it happen for you because we love you. Cami Laundromat Girl, you're a TikTok rock star. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
So, walk me through your first Clean Show experience. Have you even seen the show, or are you just doing appearances everywhere?
Yeah. So, this is my first show, and this is what we're on day 2, and I feel like I still haven't covered the entire floor. Like, I definitely am glad I stayed an extra day so I can make sure I hit up all the spots. But yeah, it's been super busy. And my favorite part of the whole show, honestly, has just been running into followers that follow me and are a part of my community. And it's just been like, that's been my favorite part, definitely. And so it's been great. I've loved it.
Okay, so we need to reintroduce you because I heard there's maybe 2 or 3 people out there who have never heard of you.
Okay.
And that's it. That's just 2 or 3.
Okay.
So introduce yourself, like your backstory of being a nurse and wanting an exit strategy. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So I had worked as what's called a bone marrow transplant nurse, which is like an oncology nurse, for about 10 years. And it was 2020. And working as a nurse during COVID, during that year, was really hard. And so it was kind of like a little bit of a wake-up call, like, okay, is this what I really want to do? And I also knew that I wanted to eventually leave healthcare, but I also didn't want to go back to school to do anything else. And so really my only way out was to buy a business. So originally I was looking at mobile home parks. I was at storage units. I was actually even under escrow for a mobile home park, which luckily it fell through. So that's like, I still think of how lucky I was that didn't happen.
Yeah.
But then I saw this laundromat got listed online, and I thought, oh, I can do a laundromat. And at the time in 2020, like, laundromats weren't talked about. Like, they just, like, Cody Sanchez wasn't around. Like, no one was talking about it on social media. And even in 2020, like, I was hungry to find a business. So I was reading blogs. I was really scoping it out. And I still hadn't come across a whole lot of laundromat business and behind the scenes of it. And so I just talked to a few friends about it. And a friend of mine happened to have an uncle who had 2 laundromats. So I just cold called this man, never had talked to him before, and asked him about the business. And he said, if I could go back in time, he's like, I would never go back to school. He's like, all I would do is buy laundromats because laundromats scream money. So I was like, okay, sold. And so done. Yeah, I mean, he looked over the financials with me, and it ended up being a really great deal. And so it worked out. But yeah, that's kind of how I got into the business. It was a pretty quick thing that happened, but it really worked out. I'm so happy it did.
It's funny. I love your story because I feel like there was just this plan that you were going to end up. You were in one business and it just fell through.
Yeah.
And you knew somebody that could walk you through and say, hey, yeah, you're buying something that's really legit. And boom, it happens.
Yes.
So when you came in, was it an exit strategy, or was it, I want a side business and maybe it'll allow me to downshift my hours a little bit?
Yeah, it was definitely probably that. Like, I had no intentions of completely leaving nursing because as a nurse, it's kind of an identity. Like, it's something to be proud of, to be a nurse, And so I never went into owning a business of completely leaving healthcare, but it was more of just, I just want to work 1 day a week or 2 days a week. Like, how dreamy would that be, And so that's kind of what my intentions were when I went into it. So I bought my laundromat, and then 6 months after buying it, I started pickup and delivery. And so that started to really take off because I really leveraged social media, actually. And so I was able to grow my pickup and delivery really quickly because of it. And so once I hit year 2, I thought, oh, I don't really need my nursing income. So I went down to part-time, and then I went down to even further part-time. And so by the time year 3 went, after while still owning my laundromat, I thought, I think I'm ready. Like, I felt like I was like, even as silly as it sounds, kind of like emotionally ready to completely remove myself from that position. And now people always ask me if I ever miss nursing, and I kind of don't. I'm like, I think that was the end of my chapter, and I loved it. But now I'm in this new chapter of business and laundromats, and I love it. Like, it's just a whole new game for me that I love playing.
Do you think that gradual transition was immensely helpful? Because like you said, nursing's an identity. That's something that you don't leave easily. But it allowed you to kind of tiptoe out of it.
Totally, yeah. And I think it was also financially a smart decision, because what if my laundromat didn't do as well? I think it's just like a good to have a plan B. And I'm definitely conservative when it comes to that kind of thing. I always hear of these entrepreneurs just completely quitting their job and jumping full into this one thing. I'm like, I just think that's irresponsible. Like, and maybe that's just my personality type, but I think it's smarter to just kind of have that plan A, B, and C as a just in case, especially jumping into a business. Like, I knew nothing about laundromat, so I really needed to have that plan B as a just in case. And so I think, me personally, from my experience, I always think it's just the more wise decision is to have that safety net going into a completely new business.
Right. I'm always curious how friends and family react to that, right? Because our business is kind of like this best kept secret, right? Like people don't realize how great it is or how much you can make doing it. So your colleagues at the hospital or friends and family, when you say, you know what, I think I'm done. I think it's my full-time gig. How does that go over?
Well, when it came to my family, I think they weren't really surprised, because I think I have this like record of like doing something different, but always, I have a record of like always being successful in it. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like this random one-off thing I did. I kind of had a record of it. And so I think they were very supportive. Whether they said that behind my back, I don't know.
This is not gonna work out.
Exactly. And I'm glad I didn't know if that was the case. But they were always really supportive the whole way through. But, I did notice at the hospital while I was still working as a nurse, my coworkers knew I had bought a laundromat, and I had worked there for honestly 3 years.
Right.
And it's so funny, during those 3 years, none of my coworkers would ever ask me about it. Like, it was so funny, because in the hospital I worked at, it was very much the culture of everyone goes back to school. It's very education forward. Like,
Right.
It was, everyone gets their master's, their doctorate. And so me, like, buying a laundromat, like, not going back to school, it was just kind of like odd and weird, and no one asked me about it. And so it's just kind of funny, which is hilarious, honestly. And I hope it's just kind of a funny thing. But since I've left the hospital, I've been gone for about 2 years now, a little over 2 years. And I've had one of my nursing coworkers, her and her husband bought a laundromat just like a month ago. And then I think probably 7 or 8 of my coworkers actually follow me and comment. And so I'm like, okay, good. And not that I'm like,
You're
whatever.
going to be responsible for this mass exodus from nursing. Way to go.
I know,
The nursing
right?
shortage is going to continue.
I know, but they're all still working. So that makes me happy. But it just makes me happy. It's kind of funny how the tables have turned a little bit, where it's like, I'm not that I'm saying, not even in nursing in general, but like, you don't always need to have education or schooling to be successful in anything you do. It just goes to show I have no degree in business or finance or anything, and yet I've been able to figure it out. And I think that goes for everyone.
Absolutely. You touch upon your wash, dry, fold and how quickly that built up. And you've got a great story for how you primed the pump and did that. What was a main contributor to growing that wash, dry, fold business?
Yeah. So when I started it, I decided to start it 6 months after buying. And so at the time, I was like really poor. You know what I mean? I just bought this laundromat. I'd thrown a huge down payment. I was just feeling really poor. So I didn't want to throw money at like Google ads and all these things that, people tell you to do. And so what I did instead is I reached out to local Instagram influencers, moms, and I said, hey, we'll do your laundry, an order for you for free if you can just talk about my business on your stories. And all of the moms were like, yes, absolutely. And that just catapulted my pickup and delivery. And, because I just thought, okay, who is my customer first, which is a mom with probably 3 to 4 kids and probably working, husband and wife are probably working.
Right.
And so she doesn't have time to do laundry. But where does she hang out? She hangs out on social media. She's not Googling. She's not reading a magazine. She's not, And so I knew in order to get in front of my customer, the best place to do that was on social media. And so that really catapulted my business. And I always tell people to do that because it's the cheapest way to get in front of your most ideal customer.
Were you prepared for just how quickly it happened?
I mean, yes and no. I remember like calling my employees, like, okay, how can anybody want to come in today, tomorrow? You know what I mean? Yes. Oh, and I was there too. Like, I remember that first year, there were days where I would work a 12-hour shift. From the hospital, I would go to my laundromat in scrubs and I was folding laundry. You know what I mean? Just to make sure I had enough staff, to pull off to deliver the orders the next day. So, in that first year of ownership, it really is, you just kind of like you know, do what you got to do. That's just the reality of it, you know. So I would do it again though. So
That first year, what was the best day of ownership and what was the worst day of ownership?
oh gosh, best day was probably getting all those orders. That initial time of getting all those orders in, and I think I replaced a row of machines with Alliance Speed Queen that first month, or my first row in that first year. And then the worst day was probably, I remember I had a homeless person kick in one of my windows, my front windows, and I was working at the hospital when it happened. So I had to like take a break, try and call someone, and it was just like, and that's the reality of having another job while running a business.
Right.
Is like, how do you managing both of them when I'm on, like I'm working, like I'm on at the hospital. So that was really hard. And I remember just feeling super defeated because I just didn't feel like I had someone to help me to be like, hey, can you just do this? You know what I mean? But I had to,
Right.
it was hard. So that's just the reality of it.
And you bought another piece of equipment that just took that wash dry fold even further. How important was an ironer to, oh my gosh, now I was at a big level, now I'm even higher level?
Yeah. So I was probably had only been doing wash and fold or pick up and deliver for residential accounts for maybe like 5 or 6 months. So still, I was still pretty new in it. And my brother's friend happened to hear I did laundry. And so he called me and he was like, hey, he owned an event center. So he rents out tables, chairs, linens. And he's like, hey, the person who irons my linens, I don't know what happened to them. They couldn't do it or they were too busy. He's like, can you do mine? I'm like, we don't iron. I'm like, all we do is we can like wash and dry and hang on a hanger, but we can't press. And he was like, you know, if I were you, he almost sat me down. He's like, me as a vendor, he's like, I have the hardest time trying to find someone who can iron my linens. He's like, I feel like I'm always bouncing from a company to the next because of whatever reason. He's like, I really think you should consider getting an iron. And so I thought, like an iron was such a foreign thing, and irons just in general aren't common. You know, not a lot of laundromats have them. Right. And so but the iron was going to cost about 20 grand, which was a lot of money when I was still kind of poor.
Right.
And so I reached out to another woman who I knew owned a very large wedding venue, and I asked her, I'm like, hey, I'm thinking about getting this iron. If I get it, would you be willing just to give me a try? Like, you don't have to sign anything or just give me a try on the first order. We'll do it for free. And she said, absolutely. So I'm like, okay, if I buy this iron, I have possibility of 2 accounts, you know, 2 pretty big accounts. And so I went ahead and bought it. It took like a month to get it delivered to me. But yeah, I still have those 2 accounts to this day, and it's been going great. Best decision. Yeah.
So I'm super curious about your setup. Obviously, I follow you on social media. I mean, amazing. Like, square footage wise, what self-service you're making the wash dry fold work, but it looks like a tight space. Like, how much space are you using?
So my laundromat itself is about a 2,000 square foot space. And then I'm really lucky because I have like the size of one car garage attached to the back of my laundromat. And so that's where I have my iron, and that's where we just like store everything. But when it comes to like the folding, all my girls kind of do it in the laundromat itself. But when it comes to the iron, it's in the back. So yeah, we just make it work.
Interesting. And out of curiosity, what's the split between wash dry fold and self-serve for revenue?
Probably. Oh, I make more in my wash, fold, pickup, and delivery than my self-serve for sure. Like at this point, my self-serve income is like, oh, great. Like it's kind of like a cherry on top, you know, like it's like you're coming in to give me money. Awesome. You know,
like that's a great position.
It is. It's a great position. And I know some owners completely get rid of their, you know, self-serve. But for me, I'm like, I don't think I have no plans of doing that because it's easy money. They're coming in to give me money. You know what I mean? And I've never had an issue between my girls doing their laundry, them doing their laundry. It's never been an issue. And so I will always keep it. Yeah. So
great staff, obviously a key.
I do. Oh my gosh. I have a manager that is my right hand. And then she kind of manages our other employees, and it's been a great setup.
So how involved are you now in the day-to-day? Have you backed away? And
yes and no. So during the summer, we slow down. So I'm very much farther removed. But come winter, we're busy. My peak season is like September to May. And so I'm a little more involved. And I've thought about removing myself and hiring that out, which is what you're supposed to do.
Right.
But now that I have a social media account,
Gotta be
I have
there.
to have content. Exactly. And that's what, and I'm happy to do it because that's what teaches my followers. That's what gives them the real behind the scenes. Because I can't do it behind the scenes sitting on a couch talking to a camera, you know?
I won't watch that.
Right? That's boring. Exactly. And so I still am involved because I want to give my followers that more raw, real life of owning a laundromat.
All right. So you talked about all the followers and social media.
Yes.
You're busy. How do you decide that I'm going to add more work to my schedule? I'm going to create this social media account. Like, how does that?
I know. I keep giving myself more jobs is what I end up doing. But I really like this one. So I feel like, you know, I was able to grow my pickup and delivery and wash and fold with social media. So I kind of was already familiar with
Sure.
it. I was already kind of good at it. And so I ran into Laundromat Money, Carlos, a year ago, and he's like, you should do it. It was just that conversation. He's like, you're a girl, you should do this. You should be telling people how to do it. And so I was like, okay. And so I just did. Like, I posted my first TikTok that week, and my second video I ever posted, because I originally started on TikTok, then I also do Instagram now too. But my second video I posted on TikTok, it hit over 1 million views. So like the second video went viral. And so that really gave me the confidence to be like, oh, this is working. People I think might like this. And so I just continued to do it. So yeah, it's been really fun.
You and Carlos, you lead these charmed life. The guy posts one video and gets a million views right away. You had to wait for your second video to hit 1 million. Oh my gosh, that must have been an eternity.
Right.
So how do you then grow that? I mean, you're starting from a super starting point. Like, how do you put more energy into it, or just continue to do what you're doing?
I feel like, you know, with social media, I always tell people it's like playing the lottery. The more times you play, the more likely you're going to win, because the algorithm is so random. It's so like it's so hard to dial in what works and what doesn't work, because you never know if it's going to hit or not. And so I just try and keep my emotion away from it. So like, say I post one video, it hits 1 million. The next video, it hits 10,000 views, which is still great, but you know what I mean? It's a lot less. And so I just try not to get emotional about it. I don't get like sad, like, oh, what did I do wrong? Anything. I post every day. Like whether I have a good video the day before or not, I post every single day, sometimes twice a day, you know? And so I just really consistency is my, like, I think that's like my biggest weapon. I do it every day, where a lot of people will try and get on social media, but the consistency is the hardest part. And I completely agree. So I think just tuning into that.
But you are still watching the numbers. You're still a numbers person.
I know. It's hard not to.
All right. How many followers then?
Well, so in Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube combination, I have a little over 800,000. So my goal is 1 million by Christmas. So we'll see.
Was there a point that you reached where you're like, kind of a big social media deal? I think I'm an influencer now.
I don't know. I think one time, this happened like probably a few months ago, I was getting my hair done, and my hairdresser girl like recognized me, and that was the first time I'd ever been recognized like in the wild, you know? And so that was really exciting. And of course, coming here, like I think people knew I was coming. So I had a lot of followers coming up to me. And so that's been really fun. But I think that one time I was like, oh, like, you know who I am? You know, so that was probably
now you gotta wear dark sunglasses and a hat.
My hat,
like
no one talked to me. Yeah.
I mean, I'm surprised you walk around here without a security
I
detail.
know,
because,
right?
I mean, come on.
It's a tough life.
So talk a little bit about that follower base. What's the makeup?
So I would say 60% women, 40% men is about the ratio. And I think it's because just a lot of women, they relate to my story. They say, oh, you're a nurse. I'm a teacher. I'm a nurse. I'm a, you know, whatever it is. They can look at me and go, oh, you went from this to this. I can do that. And so I think that's where it really draws a lot of women. And I think what happens, and I actually get a lot of these types of messages, the woman or the wife will find me, and then they'll tell their husband, and then the husband follows me. And so, and then in combination, then they go buy a laundromat. Like, I probably ran into 4 people just this morning saying after following me, they went and bought a laundromat. And so it really is like so neat. It really is so cool.
That is amazing. Yeah. Like, how do you feel after that conversation? Like,
it really is, because it's like life-changing decisions these people are making, you know? And I think because of that, especially being here, it makes me realize that how important it is when on the videos and posts that I post to be so authentic and be so honest with my numbers, because people are basing my numbers off what they're looking at. Right. And so it just kind of reminds me that I have to be completely honest in this, because I may not know any of these followers who are following me, but they know me and they're really using what I'm saying in their real lives to make big decisions. And so it's just a really good reminder in that I feel like even after the show or anytime I run into someone that I want to do better for them because I know they're watching and making big decisions.
Right. Was there ever a post that you put out that you feel like you veered from that formula and were like, nope, that's not right, that's not me?
Yes, actually, and this is kind of funny. So when I first met Carlos at that first conference, he told me, because I was like, I don't even know how I would do it. And Carlos was like, just do what I do. Just what I do works. Just do what I do. And I'm like, oh, thank you. That's like so nice for him to say
Carlos.
that. It's Carlos. And so I was like, okay, well. And so I did. I started doing videos like him. But it turns out me and Carlos are different people and we just have different styles. And so I started kind of doing like a few other little things. And so now a year later, you look at my stuff and Carlos, and we are completely different channels because we're different people. And so I think you can't, that's kind of where I realized you can't mimic someone because we're not the same. And I think that's what makes social media great. None of us are the same. So all of our pages are going to be so different. And we have so many different things to offer into different people.
For sure. The tough question. Why is it so satisfying to watch those bills go through the bill counter?
I know. It is so funny. Those are my most viral videos. People love watching it. And it's so funny. I think they like it because I've had a few people comment. They like love seeing the mess of dollars.
Yeah, when it gets dumped on the counter.
Yes, they
bag.
like love it. And then they like see me clean it up. It's like a satisfying thing. And then to hear the
stacks.
Counter, I know. It's so funny. And I've had so many people like comment and say, why don't you get a better counter, right? And I'm like, why? Because these are my most viral videos. I'm not going to.
Don't mess with it.
No, like this is what's working. And so yeah, those are by far my most. People love those videos. It's just like I think they're just intrigued by it.
Well, one of the like buttons is always me.
Okay, good. Well, thank you.
Watching all the bills go through. I can't wait for the part where they go in stacks.
I know. It's so funny. I know.
Such a weirdo.
I know. Hey, it's okay.
All right. So you are literally into everything. So social media is one thing. Mm-hmm. You're on Instagram and TikTok, but you're creating some consulting. Last time I tuned in, you were going on some Laundromat World tour.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what is going on with you?
Yes.
Like, what are you into now?
I know. Well, I feel like I just keep coming up with these like ideas that I'm like, oh, this would be fun. And so I kind of just think of things that I would want to do. And so recently I thought about doing this like Laundromat Girl on tour where I could go to other laundromats and bring my followers along, because right now my followers only see my laundromat. Every single day they see what I do, what my laundromat does. And so I thought it would be really fun to go to other laundromats, and so I can kind of show my followers what other people are doing, what softwares, machines, what they're using to make their business successful, how their behind the scenes looks like. I think it would be really cool, and I selfishly would love to see it myself. And so I think it would be a really neat experience to do.
And you're doing some consulting work.
Yeah.
You're meeting with folks and having conversations about how to get in the business.
Yeah. So I also sell guides on my like link in bio, basically on teaching people on how to buy a laundromat, like how to value a laundromat, and then how to start pickup and delivery. And then a few months ago, I started what's called a Laundromat Girl community, where it's like a monthly thing where people can come in, and we do like live webinars every Monday. Let's see here, what else? I interview an expert in the industry once a month. So it's more of like a one-on-one with my followers. And so that's been really like fun thing to grow and build. And it's probably one of my favorite things I do right now.
So you've got a lot of spare time, apparently.
A lot of spare time.
Yeah, you're not doing anything.
No, that's it. Just laundry.
So what does the future look like then? Do you want to own multiple laundromats? Are you content with the empire that you have with one and your social media?
Yeah. I really do love what I do right now. Like I have this laundromat. I love it. I have a great team. It's doing great. I love my social media. Like that's been like such a creative side for me to do. I love that. But I also think, as a laundromat owner, it's very common to own more than one. I mean, there are people here that own 10, 20 of them, And so I thought it would be really neat to buy a second laundromat or build a second laundromat and really bring my followers along that whole process, because that's never been documented. I think you see laundromats like a before and an after and nothing in between. And so I thought it would be really neat to do like this long YouTube series of like, okay, day one, this is what I did to buy a laundromat. Day two, I'm going through due diligence. This is how I'm doing it, and really bring them to the day to day to give them more concrete, duties or jobs that you're supposed to do
Right.
during the whole process. Because right now, I feel like I just talk about my past. Like, oh, when I did due diligence, this is what I
Right.
did. Where here, it would be like in real time. And I think people would tune in, come in every Tuesday, be like, oh, did she post? What's the update
Right.
this week? And I think that would be really cool.
Day 10, create social media empire.
Yes.
Get 1 million followers.
Yes, exactly.
Check.
Check.
So I want to give you an opportunity to pitch where people find you. Where are you
Okay.
at on TikTok and
Yeah.
socials and everything?
Yeah. So I'm on Laundromat Girl on TikTok, and then Instagram I'm Laundromat Girl official, and then YouTube Laundromat Girl. So those are my 3 places that I go. So
And that's where they can find you if they
Yes.
want to get your consulting and learn how to
Yes.
get in this business and all that.
I'm definitely more active on Instagram because I do a lot of my Instagram stories. So I always tell people, if you're going to pick one, pick that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Noted. All right. You ready for your final tough question?
Yes.
All right. Since it's the Laundry Nerd podcast,
Yes.
what is the nerdiest thing you've seen, heard, said while at Clean Show?
While at Clean Show, let's see here. I just think it's so interesting to, people, here we are, we're just talking about laundry. This whole place is all about laundry. And I just think it's so funny to see grown men, grown adults just really dive into the details of laundry and like the aspects of it and from step 1 to step 10 and how interested I am in hearing them talk about it. I think it's just so funny how everyone is passionate about everything in the US. Like I've told so many like family and friends that I'm coming to this laundromat conference and they're shocked that this even exists. And I tell them, like, you have no idea. I literally have been nicknaming the Clean Show the Super Bowl of laundry. Like this is it's true. It is that big. And people don't understand the reality and the impact of laundry is in our America, honestly. Like we have to have it done. And so I feel like everyone here is passionate about laundry and it makes me feel like I'm with the right people being here. And so I feel like a nerd being just as excited about it as everyone else. And it kind of feels like home being here. I like it.
So just to clarify then, Cami Laundromat Girl is a laundry nerd?
It is. I am, apparently. I know. Who would have thought?
You heard it here. Laundry nerd.
Yes.
We're breaking new ground. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you
I hope you have a great show.
Yes.
Keep us in lockstep with all your developments, and
Cool.
we'll be watching you in the socials.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you, Randy.
Absolutely. Thank you.